Well, shemai everyone, how are you all? I've got a brand new book which will be great for our reading challenge because this story is all about food. Now, one of the categories in our reading challenge is to read a book with food in it. And this is about a little girl with green fingers. Now, if you've got green fingers, it doesn't mean that your fingers are really green. It means that you're very, very good at getting things to grow. And her name is Scarlette Beane. And look at all the letters. They look like the shoots off a beanstalk, or the tendrils from a beanstalk. Oh, look at all the fruit and veg here. We got marrows, peas, tomatoes, onions, carrots, parsley, I think this is, celery. I think they are supposed to be turnips. Couldn't think what they were called then. What else have we forgotten? Onions, more carrots. It's a lovely, healthy looking page. And peas. Peas in a pod. Are we ready? When Mrs. Beane first saw her daughter's face, it was as red as a beetroot, and the ends of her fingers were green. I shall call her Scarlette, declared Mrs. Beane. She will grow up tall and strong, and she'll do something wonderful. Mr. and Mrs. Beane lived in a house that looked a bit like a garden shed. It was cosy and made of wood, but it was very small, so they worked outside as much as they could. That's tiny, isn't it? That's the tiniest house I've ever seen. Scarlette lay in her pram and she listened to the flowers grow. And when she slept, she dreamed of doing something wonderful. On her 5th birthday, Grandfather Beane gave Scarlette her very own vegetable garden. Her father built... couldn't be, I'm reading the wrong bit first. Her mother gave her a set of tools with wooden handles. Her father built a wooden fence to keep out the rabbits, and he made a white gate that Scarlette could open herself. And look, it's a bit hard to see, but her fingers are actually glowing green. Scarlette loved her new garden. She pulled up the weeds. She dug the soil until it was crumbly like chocolate cake. She planted a row of carrots, a row of onions, and a row of parsley. That night when she went to bed, the ends of her fingers glowed like green lights. The next morning, Scarlette ran into her garden. Her carrots were huge as tree trunks. Her onions were as big as hot air balloons. Her parsley was as thick as a jungle. Everyone in the village came to help. They used bulldozers to dig out the carrots. They drove forklift trucks to carry the onions. They cut the parsley with chainsaws. I've never seen veg that big. Mrs. Beane's kitchen was far too small for so many vegetables, so she made soup in a concrete mixer. Look, they're using a cement mixer. The house was too small for so many people. They haven't eaten outside, look, out of a bath. So Mrs. Beane served the soup in the garden. Everyone said it was the best soup ever. And when it began to rain, they ate second helpings under the table. That night, Scarlette Beane dreamed of doing something wonderful. She crept out of bed, and in one hand she held a small trowel, and in the other she had lots and lots of seeds. High above the meadow, the moon hung like a pearl in the sky. Scarlette dug a hole and put all the seeds at the bottom. As she covered them with earth, the ends of her fingers flashed like green stars. The next morning, the sun rose like a huge gold coin. In the middle of the meadow was a castle made of vegetables. It had turnip turrets and a drawbridge held up by corn cobs. A cucumber tower stood at each corner. Mr. Beane couldn't believe his eyes. It was the house of all his dreams. Mrs. Beane kissed her daughter's face. I knew you'd do something wonderful, she whispered. Scarlette Beane was so happy she went red as a beetroot, and the ends of her fingers sparkled like fireworks. There they are, look, they're moving all their stuff into their new castle. And you know, Mrs. Richards knows that all the children in her class will grow up to do something wonderful too. So shall we finish with our goodbye song? Barod. Hwyl faw ffrindiau, hwyl faw ffrindiau, hwyl faw ffrindiau, mae'n amser dweud hwyl fawr. Tŵr a lŵr a banter ni, banter ni, banter ni, tŵr a lŵr a banter ni, mae'n amser dweud hwyl fawr. Hwyl fawr ffrindiau, I'll see you soon.